This week we have a little Q&A with two of our wonderful regional sisters, Emma and Colleen. So Emma has Cloth Baby and Colleen is the wonderful maker of Magnitude. And I just will start with maybe if you, each of you want to give your 30-second elevator pitch, little intro to who you are and what your business is. So Emma, do you want to go first?
Sure thing. Hello everyone, my name's Emma Avery and I'm the owner and founder of Cloth Baby Bottom Cloth Nappies. I have two children, 4 years old and 18 months old, and developed my business to make it easier for parents to use cloth nappies easily and successfully. And I'm talking modern cloth nappies. So these are quite varied variation to the traditional terry toweling flat nappies that were probably big back in the 70s, 80s, and maybe early 90s. So I retail existing brands of modern cloth nappies, and I do education workshops and how-to help people start to use and continue to use the nappies successfully and avoiding waste to landfill. Thanks.
Awesome. You got that down pat. That's good.
Just off the top. I've said it so many times.
And Colleen, do you want to go?
Hi, I'm Colleen from Magnitude. I'm from North Warrandyte on the fringe of Melbourne. I run a knitwear business which is focused on accessories and homewares, and I like to focus on using a splash of colour to add to your all black wardrobe, which is a bit of a Melbourne thing, or accentuate perhaps the neutrals that you have in your home decor. So I have got a range of lovely plush merino large blankets. Can we cut?
No, you're right, don't stress. You're not, it's not a pitch event.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just
you're okay. I will say
pop in. I'm just a little bit tired.
No, you're right. You would be tired. So just to give everyone some context, you both pitched last week at a big event in Melbourne in front of, I think, probably over 200 people. Mm-hmm. And so I guess my question for you both is, what did that feel like for the sisters who weren't there and weren't in the room? How was that experience for you, and how did it feel going into it and then being up in front of everybody on the day?
It was a pretty amazing feeling. The space was massive. So it was like this big warehouse. I think it was an old shipping yards area that had been converted. And at Launch Vic, all around us are like these funky open plan offices. And yeah, it was earlier in the day. It was a really interesting vibe. And the stage was in the sort of middle open area. When we pitched, everyone had gone home from their offices, but so it was a small stage, big screen with Global Sisters on the back, and then just the crowd of people, and then the bleachers of people up the back as well. So it was pretty amazing, all the people there, and the space was big, so it was a real challenge to fill that space with your presentation and your presence. So once I got into my pitch, it was pretty amazing feeling. Like once you get over those first hurdle of nerves and you get on a roll, then that's what gives me a bit of a buzz. I do like to do public speaking, so it was right up my alley. But I know some other people are nervous. I was nervous leading up, but yeah, once I'm up there, I'm on a roll and I'm off. So that was my experience. Yeah.
Awesome. And Colleen, how did you feel getting up in front of all those people?
Yeah, it was a fantastic buzz. It was I was excited to share my story. I was a little tentative, but really keen to relay where it all started, and how it evolved, and how much energy Global Sisters had put into supporting us sort of every step of the way, but you know, from a lovely distance, as in so encouraging our independence every step of the way. So and I think the energy that came out of that room is indescribable. Talking to everyone, running a market stall on the same night too was fantastic. We had to sort of dash back between the pitches and just get on with the conversations about the product, and then back to the pitches.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of conversation to be had every which way, and people wanted to sort of mingle and chat straight after the talk, and there was just, you honestly could have talked for another 5 hours. There was so many people from marketing companies, from different and varied businesses, and it was just a night that you wish could have gone on forever in so many ways.
There was a lot going on with conversations and talking to people, and because you've run through your own pitch so many times. I remember talking to someone thinking, have I mentioned this to you before? Was that the last person? Was that in my pitch? Like, it was just a whirlwind of just activity, and you're trying to be there at your market stall, but then you're trying to answer people's questions, and then you're on to pitch. And it was massive on the brain overload, but it was a really fantastic experience to do it.
And that's the thing, I came away from it all thinking it can be challenging enough, even if you love public speaking, to be up there in front of a room full of people, but then to be moving from selling your products to talking to even connecting with us as a team and the other sisters that were there. But there was such a buzz. And also I think we reflected on a bit later, but the ripple effect and the conversations that will continue off the back of that event, I think you probably had chats with people for a minute or two, but those people going and probably looking at your website or talking to somebody else. And so I think it just has generated a whole lot of more activity. So that's exciting.
Oh, sorry. I brought a friend along too, who herself is in advertising, and she was like, oh, I wish I brought my whole team at work, and I wish I understood more about what this was like. And I'm like, well, you'll have to be there next year, know, because it's not to miss out on, because she could see what a wonderful branding exercise it is all around. And, it just, the dynamism that's in it is just, indescribable until you're in the room. So,
so we're very excited. And obviously you both pitched for asks for business, and then also received some capital. So that's exciting. And we're really, over the next few months, we might just share back with everybody what's been happening for you both and what comes out of that, because I think it's amazing to watch you as your businesses progress, but also being able to share those stories with other sisters and help them to see that these, what opportunities are coming out of it. Something that we just want to continue to feed back into the tribe. So if you're okay with that, we might check in with you both at some point, see how it's all going.
Sure thing.
Yeah. Okay, so back to both your individual businesses. I guess just when I set up this series for the next month or so, it was just very casually to ask, have honest discussions with different women in business. Some of them was part of our team and some of our sisters, but also people that are we're going to be interviewing some other business women, just about some of your learnings or challenges or things that are just helping you fall more and more in love with this whole business life juggle that you're in. So I just wondered if you both might want to share over the last 12 months or so, what's been a big learning or obstacle or challenge that you've overcome for yourself and in your business?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go.
Off the top of my head. I suppose anything with kids can be a challenge, but what I've really learned is really that prioritizing my time around. I have 2 days of daycare that my kids go to, and that's when I get my work done. Like that's my golden time, and that's what I prioritize too. Yes, I work in the evenings as well. So as I've gone on this business journey, I'm really a stickler for planning in terms of what happens on those days, and really try hard, I suppose, to achieve that balance as well with kids and making time for kids. So if that means there might be a day where I just don't open my computer, I can't look at emails, I can't look at social media, and I'm just really aware about my phone use around my kids as well. They do take an interest in what I do and that, but I still want to be a present mum with them as well. So that'd be one of my challenges in that. And plus I love what I do and it excites me, and so I want to be working on it all the time. And so usually when they're in bed, I'll come and work on my computer and things like that, but I know I need to also make time for my husband and other members of my family and other things too as well. So it's I think it's something you can't really adopt straight away in terms of time management, running a business, especially working for yourself. It's something you find out and you set your own rules and boundaries and what you need to achieve yourself. So that'd be one of my challenges.
Do you set yourself, like at the beginning of a week, will you write like a work plan for yourself, or do you have an approach or a method that you've been using?
Yeah, well, a bit of a plan. And then I was just talking about the blog pieces. Like I know I've said I want to do one blog post a month. So that weekly plan is about, okay, this half of this day is going to be writing that blog post or drafting it or whatever. So it's ready for posting next week. So yeah, I suppose there's bigger goals of those once a month, and then you can chunk it back down. And that can be as formal as informal. Informal meaning it's all in my head, and that formal mean writing the list and using like a Trello board to map out each month or each blog post, and then feeding that with ideas as they come up throughout the time as well. Was that the question?
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's probably a bit of a universal one. So I think it's awesome when you hear some practice. I've been also trying to do something similar at the moment, like because I feel that tug that you were saying between being present with the kids and then be at work when you're with them. For you guys, it's probably challenge like more the business at home. That balance or that line, I could imagine, gets blurred. So
yeah, it's not always perfect, but it's something to strive to.
Totally. Colleen, how's it been for you this last 12 months, and have you got any sort of things that you've
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I have my plan of attack and my definite can and can't do. To-do lists are vital. I absolutely make up endless to-do lists, and if it doesn't get done on that first list, it goes on to the next list. And I find there is power in putting a few fun things on the to-do list to break up the monotony of the ones that you don't want to get done, like the paperwork or the something or other, or the ring the tax agent or whatever it is that you're sort of putting off. So write everything, and then write a few things that you sort of are over anticipating that are further down the week, but write them down so that you don't forget them. So make extensive to-do lists so that everything you're thinking of goes on them, so that you don't forget them either this week or a month from now or whatever it is, so that it's recorded somewhere and can be transferred to the relevant time or the relevant date. And then journal as well, so that then those things that are on your to-do list go into relevant days, and you can go back and look back on progress and what your thoughts were around a given project, how big or how insurmountable something seemed, and then how it just resolves itself, and how all of a sudden, oh, it's done. You know, you sort of think, wow, that seemed like mission impossible, and all of a sudden you've just done it, and it was no problem at all. And the other thing is to stay focused on what you can and not be too bothered about what you can't, because what you can't do tends to just fade away. Like if you stay really focused on everything that you can achieve, what it is you think you can't do just tends to disappear, and you just keep achieving. And yeah, I think those are the key. Oh, and the other one was is not to be afraid to ask questions. If there seems to be something that's completely outside of your realm, the biggest thing that business has taught me is to ask questions, and just especially if it's something that's outside your arena, or something that you anticipate might be an issue down the track. Ask sooner than you need to know, sooner than you might need to know, so that you don't last minute in a bind something that might be a financial issue, or might be, you know, a legal issue, or something that just would impact your business in a bad way. So yeah, those are the main things that I've learned.
Thank you. While I was talking then, while I was talking, this is the wonders of technology. Somebody tried to call my computer and I thought it cut off the recording, but you're still there. So
cool.
Yes. Sorry if I was distracted for a moment, but thank you. I was going to ask because you're obviously a maker and a creative and an artist.
Yes.
And how's that side of your business, like the planning and the to-do lists, and has that been something that came naturally to you, or did you really have to work on that for yourself? Or I don't want to stereotype.
It's a sort of no, it's true. It's a muscle I really had to exercise. It's a muscle I had to sort of find and grow. To-do lists were not so bad. That's kind of like sketching in straight lines. You know, that's kind of like that's kind of like monotone sketching. You know, so obviously all the creative stuff, it happens as per must. You know, you sketch what you're going to make. You start often I'll write down a pattern for you know, a scarf or a hat or something in reverse. I'll make it, then I'll think, oh gosh, I quickly got to write down the pattern that I've just made, because before I forget exactly how I made it. Now I know how I made it, but I might need to relay that back to somebody else, or I might need to remember it for later on when I just, you know, I need the information. So that creative process can happen, you know, in reverse, or you know, in whatever order. That happens quite automatically for me. But yes, absolutely. The rest was a sort of a muscle that you have to work out, you know, at the pragmatic gym.
No, I love that visual too. I think about that often with things I don't love to do, but I'm like, you know, we can do hard things, we can strengthen in these areas.
Yeah, that's it.
So again, I guess what would be great to hear is maybe if you both have the biggest win for your business over the last year, or something that you've achieved that you feel really proud about. Is there anything that comes to top of mind?
Oh. I suppose I only launched this year. So everything seems like a win.
That's exciting. Big year.
It is. I tell you what's really win-like for me is that someone encouraged me to start tracking my sales every month. In sister school, when we did the cards with the money, I'm not Uh,
Money Habitudes one.
Yeah, money habitudes.
Yeah.
I'm not driven by sales dollars, and I don't need. This is my personal. I don't need to, sell us things and get really rich and everything. That doesn't drive me. But just tracking sales, because I was doing like a little sale here and a sale to a friend and a sale to that, and she said, "How are your sales going?" I'm like, "Oh, not very good. Haven't had many this month," but I didn't really know. And then I started tracking them, and I was like, "Hang on, they're actually adding up, and I really should know this and that." So it's just a simple spreadsheet, and every week I do it, and I just look at, you can either look at like your Wave accounting system or Square reports or what cash on hand, and just count it up. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, right, next month I'm going to try for this much. And next month I'm going to try for this much. I'm like, okay. And then put a strategy around that. So recording that and seeing that as a win has been really exciting that way. So I'm looking at it as numbers, not so much as dollars in the bank. I mean, dollars are nice, but I know I won't be turning an absolute profit for a while in the very first year, but it's those dollars in the bank. And then having more sales allows me to then purchase more stock. So yeah, it's a real fine balance. So that's a bit of a win and a learning for me along the way. Yeah, just record it and be aware of it, I think.
I think that's important too, like what you're saying, like maybe you're not at a point where you're being realistic, you mightn't be breaking even, or it's not a profit, or wherever you're at in your business. But you're still, like you said earlier, you're accountable to those hours you're spending away from your children and on that. And so, the way I look at it is I do a lot of looking at our impact data, but that's what we do with the sisters and the money we spend from the government or philanthropic. And it's a way of saying, it may not be a profit, but it's still important, because this is what the hours spent and the time that all these people come together and the work that they do leads to. And so having that feedback for yourself, I think would be, otherwise you could feel sometimes like you're not getting anywhere, but actually when you look back and reflect, it's very clear that you are growing.
And you can say, oh, last month it was this much, and this month it's this much. Like I'm doing something right, or I should do that again, or and build a bit of a strategy around that.
And Colleen, thank you, Emma. Do you have something to share, like a win that's happened to you?
A couple of aspects, I guess, to that. On a simple level, I feel like I'm tackling accounting software with a little more confidence, which is a win for me, because I'm definitely more of a creative type. So that's a relief. And I've just started a bookkeeping short course, on Fridays, to sort of really try and nail that, which is a hop, skip and a jump. But what I feel happy about, and is I've had some really good feedback about branding, and I did some advertising job just for a very short moment and found it wasn't for me. But I think what that's allowed me to realize is that I'm not so rigid about what specific product I'm selling, as long as it fits into the realm of what my product is about, as long as it is Australian, and as long as the source is where I want it to be from, as long as it's sustainable, as long as it meets all the parameters of my brand, then I'm quite happy that that the branding is credited. In the pitch on Wednesday was that, I've broken through this image of knitting being done by grannies sitting in a rocking chair on the veranda, or it just being mass produced in synthetic yarn, made in China. It's sort of one or the other, and it's like, no, it's it's somewhere in between. It's a little bit urban, it's a little bit sophisticated, it's tactile, it's beautiful, it's something you want to wear now. down the street, you know, sort of today. And that seemed to come across, and I got a lot of feedback on that. And as I sort of looked through the word cloud, it was evident there as well. And I'm like, oh gee, that really sort of surprised me that would relay as clearly as I had hoped it would. I didn't really, I'd hoped that it would, but I didn't really think that it would. So I was quite happy about that. So that was a win. That was definitely a win. And that was something that Lara from the Social Good Outpost sort of helped with through Global Sisters earlier on. And she was encouraging me to sort of use the banner photo I had on Facebook to sort of get that on my business card, and just talking around all of the different points of branding with me. And I think, that's really important, because it speaks to everything, all the reasons why you started your business, and all the places you want to take it as well. And it keeps you thinking all the time, every day, what new influences do you want to bring in, what do you want to edit out, and where do you want to go?
Yeah, so that constant going back to brand, is this where we're aligning with my values, with what I'm hoping to achieve?
Yeah. And is there anything that I need to change? Is there anything that's happened in the market that that, you know, for example, I saw something on the water situation on 60 Minutes the other night, and that sort of made me think, oh, you know, that I sort of won't say necessarily, but it talked about something that was you know, heavily in demand on the marketplace at the moment. I thought, well, that's really driving the market in one direction, and I'm like, well, that sort of semi-impacts what textiles I could or could not be using, you know. So yeah, and there are things like that will come up, you know, that that have an impact. So there will always be that sort of there
seems to be always a process of learning in this business world, so you'll never be bored. There's always something to be keeping up with and learning and working on. I think we've probably gone over 20 minutes, but just to finish up, I guess it'd be really great to hear from you both something that you have set in your sights for 2020 for your business, a goal that you're setting, or something you really hope to achieve. Have you thought about that yet?
I'm in the process of looking at a plan to even next June in terms of goals and that. It's there's a lot of possibilities out there for me. I've got a lot to do in the new baby space, and there's a lot in the waste and government space. So there were some good connections that I got from the pitch event, and also being in Melbourne as well. So I'd really like to get this more on government agenda in terms of a waste issue, being disposable nappies being a waste issue, and use my services to be engaged by government to tackle this issue. That's my overarching thing for the waste area. And then I've got the baby area too, and that's really the retail side and getting more people to use cloth nappies. So how the two merge is interesting path, and they're both really exciting and mind-boggling at the same time. So
well, if anyone can do it, on it.
Yes,
go with the mission.
And I do like I can't remember where I've heard it, but someone said, you know all the answers, it's all within you. You're the expert, you know it. When you think, should I do this, should I do this, should I do this? So the pitch event was just a real affirmation of all that. And so was the Colleen alluded to it, was that word cloud. I've got it printed out, sticking up on my wall. really inspiring words of what the audience, like complete strangers to you, how they describe you. And it's really amazing to look at that and reflect on that and think, oh wow, people do see me as that, and that's really cool. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Colleen, what's in store for you?
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited by the pitch opportunities. I think it could evolve into something sort of far beyond. I have to say that, you know, the response was sort of, you know, beyond my wildest dreams in some ways. You know, like I in terms of the branding, like I said, I really didn't think I could burst past this cottage industry image. So I think it's the response to the branding that has sort of stunned me a bit. So the idea of potentially creating a range of wool to work with, or some of the dreams of being able to run with the fashion industry with I made your clothes, or I made your hat, or I made your whatever, and going to the fashion industry level of transparency and try and show the sourcing of where everything comes from, you know, right from the sheep, from paddock to pullover sort of thing. I'm keen to sort of see just how far down the track I can get. Well, this is talking a little bit further down the track, but I'm just keen to see where it all goes. In the nearer future, I'm looking at widening the product range, creating incredible diversity of product, of incredible color to choose from, incredible reach. I want to be able to go Australia wide, but then globally as well, because I've been getting inquiries from different places overseas about, you know, like we'd like to buy from you as well, because I mean, sometimes the dollar's good in America. It's good for them to purchase from Australia because it's in their favor anyway. So there's a lot to look at in terms of you know, how you still do that with freight, and how you do that sustainably, you know, once you start sending packages overseas. And there's so much to look at. It's, you know, if you look at it all at once, it's overwhelming. So I just yeah, there's oodles to contemplate, and I really think I need to have a little journal for every subject, which is actually something I've learned from my son. So, and yeah, so keep a separate diary for every subject, and and keep it all sorted out, so I know which color I'm picking up and which topic I'm contemplating on at any given moment. So yeah, because then you can let your dreams let those dreams come true, I guess, you know, just let them evolve. So
well, I have no doubts you're both incredible women, and you both have really unique products that I feel like at this time in history, or at this time in our culture, or whatever, it's they're both really important, and I think they're sort of only going to get more like with the behavior change stuff, and people raising and all those pieces, and then same like consumers having more power and understanding more what their products are and what they're wearing and where they're coming from. I think they're both unique and incredible products. So I think I'm really happy, like, thank you both for taking the very last minute call for this. And I'm sure lots of the sisters will appreciate you taking the time to do a Q&A and hearing from you a little bit about how you're going. So I'll say goodbye.
And thank you to Global Sisters for the pitch opportunity and all that they've offered and supported throughout our time with them. It's fantastic. It's an amazing exposure and support. It's been really good, so thank you.
Absolutely. I'd like to second that one. It's just, you know, we absolutely, how could we do it without Global Sisters? And it's just a phenomenal network. It's like, it's very hard to put into words. Yeah, but the experience is like nothing else. So
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
thank you.